The search results page, or SERPs, are changing. I wanted to show you why, I wanted to show you how, and what you need to do as an e-commerce brand to make sure that you're not right down the bottom, or even worse, on the second, third, fourth page of Google for your target keywords. So I don't know how much you guys keep up to date with this stuff. Probably just me, because I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to it. But basically, the search results in Google are kind of changing a little bit. And this has just came out in Australia. It might have been in the US for a little while, I'm not too sure. But basically, what's happening now is Google is inserting sponsored links or paid ads within the actual search results. You can see down here, a sponsored ad right there. Now, this is new. Normally they'll just have sponsored ads at the top or at the bottom, but now they're actually incorporating them. So if you zoom out, obviously I'm just taking a screenshot here, but if you zoom out, then it looks like a normal listing. Now, this changes a lot when it comes to SEO because, it confuses users. Users are known to skip past the sponsored ads and go straight to the organic listings. I think the stat is something like the organic listings have something like a 60 or 70% higher click rate than the sponsored listings. And there could be many reasons for that, but the main reason that I think is because users trust Google subconsciously when they put a listing there organically. So if a listing is here and they haven't paid for it, as a user, that gives me trust that this is a legit brand that is putting in the effort to show up there and it's worthy of my search for this one, black sweatshirts, right? So if a listing is showing up there organically, then that kind of gives it some value, right? Whereas if you are paying for a listing, like this one here, or the ones at the top for all these different sponsored products, then users are much more likely to scroll past it because you're paying to be there. And so you're not necessarily worthy of that. So how does this change? Well, as I said, normally before there would just be sponsored listings at the top and right down the bottom. But as you can see here, first of all, we've got all these different products. Now I've got two different searches here. This one is for black sweatshirts and this one over here is for collagen. We'll get onto that one in a second. But just to show you when you zoom out the difference, obviously there's a lot more products here. You've obviously got your sponsored listings on both of them at the top, which are people paying to be there. And then you've got your popular products, your images and so forth. But if we have a look at this one over here for black sweatshirts. So we've got the sponsored listings, that's great. Then we've got popular products. Now these are kind of organic as well. And so there's different ways that we can get up there, but that is, a good chunk of the kind of above the fold section gone basically. Then you've got your first listing here, which is organic H&M, that's great. Now, secondly, we've got then deals on black sweatshirts and hoodies. So again, we've got more kind of real estate gone. So if you think about this from, if this was this big, look how much I'm scrolling on my computer and then also my desktop, on my phone to get to the organic listings. Then we've got a people also ask section right here. That was horrible. And then the second listing, and then the third organic listing per se is not organic. It's a sponsored link. It's a sponsored ad. And so this blank clothing is paying for Google ads and they've been incorporated into the listings here. Now, again, users want to click organic listings. They want to click, this one here, this one here. But having this incorporated into the search results is naturally going to get more clicks because people aren't necessarily expecting it to be there. It'll take some time for people to recognize that. Obviously, it's still got this sponsored kind of tag here so people know it is a sponsored ad. But if I'm scrolling down and I just look at this, boom, I can click that. So it's great if you're running Google ads, you're going to get more exposure there. But again, it kind of makes it a bit tougher for us SEOs to try and get some exposure because you think to get to the third listing, which is right here, let's just draw a line below that. Look at all this real estate above it that has occurred before we get to the third listing. So the third listing is this one here. So there is so much happening before we even get to the third position on Google. And then nowadays, normally it was like 10 positions on Google, but if you see these numbers kind of represent, which listing it is. We're up to 6, 7, so we get to 8. This one has 9, so it's lucky, but quite often you'll see there's maybe 7, 8 or 9 listings. You're not necessarily getting 10. And so even more than ever, it's so important to be in the top 3, ideally the top 1, because you jump above all these other ones here and a bunch above these sponsored links. But getting on the first page is not even necessarily enough anymore. It used to be, but when it comes to e-commerce, people aren't scrolling all the way down here to look for men's black hoodies. They want to get their links, get their products as soon as they can. So that was one example. Let's have a look at this one here. This is for collagen, a little bit of a different example. Obviously collagen is a completely different product, and so there's kind of different intents when it comes to it. So this one's here has got a bit of a snippet showcasing what collagen is. We've got the sponsored links up the top again, or sponsored ads I should say. People also ask, and then we've got the first listing right here, which isn't even or an e-commerce link. So obviously maybe this isn't the best example considering I do e-commerce. Then we've got a Wikipedia page. We've got a Nutra Organics. So this is probably the first e-commerce link. And then look at that, we've got another sponsored ad. And so Collagen Co. are paying for a Google ad. And we've got Bulk Nutrients here, the second one. So we've got 2 in a row here that are taking up this real estate. And then position 4 is Nutrition Source, Custella, so forth. So if you're an e-commerce brand and you're trying to rank for collagen, first of all, obviously the intent is a little bit different, so maybe you wouldn't. But we can see here that Nutra Organics is the first e-commerce listing. So let's just put a little star next to this one, but that's in the 3rd position, right? Then you've got 2 sponsored links, you've got another one, then you've got Kissed Earth. This seems like another e-commerce listing. So we've got that one there, and so forth. Swiss Wellness versus, oh no, not that one. Anyway, you can see here, we've got 3 e-commerce listings for collagen, but to compete, obviously a very difficult keyword, but to compete with these top listings, you have to beat out 2 people that are just paying to be there. Now they're paying to be there for this keyword, probably very smart, because as I said, it's a very difficult keyword to rank for, so you should be paying for Google Ads to be in that position, so hopefully you can get some sales for that keyword. But you look again, we've got 2 listings right here and this one here that are incorporated into our normal search engine results page, into our listings, that will naturally steal clicks away from your SEO. So what does this actually mean, and how is this going to affect SEO? Well, as we talked about, you're going to lose some clicks, but also the main thing that this does is it just makes it so much harder. You know, SEO is already competitive as it is, but with all these different sponsored listings and sponsored ads going to show up, I have no doubt that before you know it, Google will have 50-50. It's already getting close. We've got 2 sponsored ads here. We've got all these at the top. There's going to be 50% ads in this listing here. And so if you're not in those top 3 positions at an absolute minimum for your target keywords, then you are really going to struggle to get any significant traffic from Google and any significant revenue from Google. And so what you need to do is you just need to invest properly into SEO. You need to hire someone like me who knows what they're doing and actually get you to these top 3 positions. And by doing so, you are going to hopefully continue to stay top of mind and top of the search results for these different keywords, so then you can still maximize your SEO returns. Now, it's not all doom and gloom. SEO still gives you amazing results. And I wanted to show you an example here of real time in the last 3 months, some crazy SEO results that we've been getting. This is a brand that came to us. They were getting $80,000 a month from organic Google search. And this is on the higher end. I think, you know, back here, they weren't doing as much. They're doing like 60, 70. And so they were pretty consistent around that mark. And since then, their overall revenue has increased to have 2 back-to-back all-time high months. And that's because we've increased their organic search revenue by almost $50,000 a month to now reaching $127,000 in June of this year. So there is still amazing results to be had with SEO, and it's not all doom and gloom, is basically what I'm trying to say. So if you want results like this, click the first link in the description. You can book a call with me and we can chat SEO and make sure that we can get you some crazy good results, and make sure you're not falling down the rankings and getting lost among all these ads and everything else that's happening in Google. If you don't need SEO and you just want to learn more, click subscribe, make sure you leave a comment, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.